To go from nothing to something, to go from 0 to 1, hardest fucking thing in the world. Hardest fucking thing in the world. Now, I'm speaking philosophically. The hardest fucking thing in the world probably is giving birth. So let me not overstep my boundaries. But what I'm saying is up here in your head, philosophically, hardest fucking thing in the world to do is to go from nothing to something. Think about it. To go from literally 0, mathematically, we're going to do the math now because numbers don't lie. To literally go from 0 to 1 is an infinite percentage gain. Infinite percentage. You went from nothing to 1. Now, if you went, now you got 1, right? You add 2 to it. You went from 1 and now you got 2. That's a 100% gain. Right? Now you got 2 and you add a third one to it, right? That's a 50% gain. Now you got 3 and you add another one to it, right? That's a 33% gain. So you see how as the numbers go up, the percentage gain goes down? Think about that. What that means is that it gets easier the more you do it. It gets easier the more you try it. It gets easier the more you succeed at it. So to go from 0 to 1, like you literally had nothing going on, and now you have 1, that's godlike. That's with a little g, but that's godlike to me. Because 1, not everybody can do it. Not everybody realizes that power, that magnificence of going from nothing to something. Like even if it's just a little bit, like this didn't exist. It was all in my head. And I nurtured it and fed it like an expecting mother and finally gave birth to it and shared it with the world. That's fucking beautiful. It brings me to tears a lot of times when I see people, creative people. I have such an affinity for creative people of all types because you are creating. It's godlike. Like I say, you're putting something into the world that didn't exist before. And one person could look at it and dismiss it, or another person could look at it and it could change their fucking life. It could inspire them to go then do the work that they do. And it all came from nothing. So this is why, 1, to go from 0 to 1 is the hardest fucking thing to do. But also why you have to try things in life. You have to give it a shot. You have to get off your ass and give it a shot. Like step in the game, jump in the water. Because often in life, for many of us, myself definitely included, often the first time you try it, it doesn't work. You probably won't succeed. Now, if you do, great for you. Doesn't change anything. The first time you do it, it's a virgin experience. It's brand new. You receive, you encounter what you encounter. It's all brand new. It's a blank slate. Now somebody marked X on that slate. Now the next time you come up, the next time you try it, you know there's an X on that board. You didn't know that before. You didn't know shit. You had no personal experience. Maybe you knew what other people said their experiences were, but you didn't have shit to go on. But now, you know there's an X on that board. You know why? Because the last time I went up there, whatever the fucking example is, you see what I'm saying? The first time you tried, do you think the first time you took a shot in basketball, you made it? Probably not. You think the first time that you saw the letters of the alphabet, you remembered it? Probably not. There's so many things in life that we have to do and we have to try over and over and over. And one of the businesses I own is an advertising business, so I've learned this through trial and fucking error, is that you got to keep putting it out there. You got to keep putting it out there because the first time someone saw it probably didn't work. The second time someone saw it probably didn't work. The third time someone saw it probably didn't work. And you probably get to the 7th or 10th or 20th or 100th time and then it finally works. One. It finally worked. And if I can get it to work once, you see, so the first time is the hardest. I mean, even for dudes, I'm not going to bring up women because it's different for women. But even for dudes, most of the time, losing your virginity, it's like I finally fucking did it. Now, I'm about to go get more. Maybe not the greatest example, but the point being is that to go from 0 to 1 is the hardest thing. And that's why you get a certain confidence boost. You may not recognize it, but you get a certain confidence boost when you try it, succeed or fail, because you tried it. And now it's not so scary. It's not so foreign. We have a natural, instinctive aversion to what is unknown, to what is foreign, to what is different from our experiences. So one of the key major things that you need to do is to become familiar with that experience, and then it's not scary anymore. Then you learn a little bit from it, and then you can make the better out of it. So I know in my own personal life, personal and business, relationships, money, transactional, the whole spectrum, the first time you do something, the first time you're in a situation, the first time you try something, you don't know shit. You don't know shit. But once you've put yourself in that situation, you got something to work with. And you do it again, and you do it again. And so that's why it becomes easier to do something, becomes easier to succeed if you can just do it once. One of my business, one of the people that I don't like to use the word admire, but one of the people that I respect a lot in business, at least as far as how he came up, is Byron Allen. And so this is a dude, former comedian, he probably saw a certain ceiling as a comedian. He decides to, flip the script and get more behind the scenes and take on the ownership role. Long story short, in order to get his empire off the ground, he tells his famous story where he basically, I might have the numbers a little slightly off, but he basically had to contact 15,000, 15,000 television stations all across the country. He's just calling them from his fucking kitchen table and his boxers and shit. But he's calling them, he's contacting them, trying to establish a relationship, trying to tell them who he is and what he do and what he can offer. 15,000 to get 50 yeses. Now, I'm good with math, but I'm not going to break down what that percentage is. But 15,000 to get 50 yeses? Okay, so 1,500 to get 5 yeses? Come on, dude. Like, that takes commitment. But once you got the first yes, something happens. Something happens in a creative person. Something happens in certain people's spirit. Once they get that first one, that's all I needed, because now I know I can do it. Now I know that what I was talking about was some real shit. And if I can do it once, I can do it twice. And if I can do it twice, and so on and so forth. And so, like I say, not everybody gets that magic. Not everybody feels that magic. There's some people in this world who are victims. And these people often are not creators. They're often not someone who can nurture an idea and feed it and then give birth to it to the world, because they're a victim. And so they always feel like, from experiences or from just what they think of themselves, they think they're going to get the worst. They don't think things are going to work out for them. So it's hard for victims a lot of times to be creative, but yet and still, you got three different types of people in life. You got victims, you got survivors, and then you got thrivers. And so the victims, things always happen to them. They could be creative, yeah, but something sabotages their effort, and so therefore they couldn't really finish it, or it didn't turn out the way it was supposed to. Somebody else did something. Somebody else affected them. So victims, things happen to them, and that's why they don't succeed. Like, in their own words, that's why they don't succeed, because it wasn't in the cards for them. Survivors, they see what's out there, and sometimes they hear what the victims are saying, but hey, I'm going to find some way to make it. I'm just going to find some way to make do. And so they don't have super elevated plans. Survivors are often very, very much not creators. But survivors are more practical. They're like, look, man, this is what's in front of us. I can't have these fanciful thoughts of what could be. And I don't want to live in the dirt and the mud of the misery of what is, so we just got to make the best of it. You got victims, you got survivors. The thrivers are often creative people, or they're the best practical people. But the point being is they're the people who can see what could be. There's some famous saying, I don't know if Robert Kennedy created it or if he just paraphrased it, and I'm going to try it. I'm probably going to get it a little off. But essentially the saying is there are people who see the world for what it is, and there's people who see the world for what it could be. I don't think it has to be binary, but there definitely is a difference of shade, a difference in the spectrum. And so the people who I think are often the thrivers, they're the people who see the world for what could be. And that's most definitely usually creators, because they see something that's not there. But they see it. And they go about their movements to bring it to life and to share it with the world. And they may bring it to life and share it with the world and be like, eh. And other people look at it like, what the fuck? You made this? You did this? And they're like, yeah, man, like, but it's a C+. You know, or you could be somebody like Prince. And I have a little bit of this in me, where I heard once where Prince said something like, where he said something like, I can make a song out of any sound I hear. And so the interviewer at that point was kind of like impressed, like, oh shit, and wanted to go down that road, like, wow, that's amazing. And then Prince was like, do you know how agonizing that is? That means there's so many projects, there's so many things that I want to share with the fucking world, and I'll never get a chance to. And Prince has got a huge catalog, and yet there's probably so many different projects and things that he wanted to present to them. Michael Jackson too, different people, Tupac, different productive people, where it's like, man, I want to give this all to y'all. I want to bring this to the world. Not because I want people to pat me on the back and tell me I'm the greatest ever, but because I want to share this with you. And I know that I can't share it all. Those are usually on a different level. But anyway, my point in making this video is a lot of people get stuck on numbers. I could make a whole separate video about this. The more elevated the numbers, the less authentic. So yeah, numbers gives us a certain validation. Like if you just got 1, if you just got 2, whereas if you got 100, if you got 1,000, if you got 1,000,000, the higher the number seems better. It seems like more of a validation of success. And in a lot of ways it is. I'd much rather have $1 million than $1. But something does happen with elevated numbers where we kind of lose ourselves. We lose a certain sense of authenticity. We lose what it's really about. I'll have to make another video about that. But the point being is, of this video, as I close out, oh, I almost forgot my catchphrase. Got smoke on this one. Got to split some atoms, you know. But thoughts and creativity a lot of times is like weed smoke in the air. If you don't do something, it just floats away. It just goes away. Nothing happened from it. You know, nobody got high. There was no party. But in life, if you've got something inside of you, you got to try it. And the first time will be the scariest, the rockiest, the most uncertain, and it will be the most you will fucking learn. Because you will go from 0 to 1. And that magic moment, I know for some of my businesses, that magic moment when you get that first for real sale, man, you can't tell me shit. You can't tell me nothing. And that's just one sale. That's just one sale. But something happens that's like, I can do this. I think I can do this. I was right. I think I can do this. Let's get to work. So that's all I'm saying, y'all. I'll get back with you, my peeps. You know what I'm saying? Stay safe out there. Get back to work. It's your boy, Diversified. You know how it is.